Hello and welcome back to Anime Plus Recap. It's Geek Boy with the Harem of Panties girls. You all were so thirsty to see them again and voted for a Season 2 recap, so here it is folks. Rosario Vampire Season 2, but probably with more girls added to the harem. And that's where 80% of budget went. Yeah, I know y'all came for these hot vamp ladies, and I'm not gonna blame you. Season 2 starts off with Tsukune Aono beginning his second year at the academy. Hopefully he's still not a virgin after having these many girls. He relived the moment he first arrived the previous year. However, he instead briefly encounters an orange-haired mysterious girl. She is a vampire that likes the scent of his human blood. He reunites with Yukari Sendu, our favorite illegal girl, Haruo Kurono, Mizore Shirayuki, and finally Moka Akashiya. All the girls have gained popularity and have received fan letters from incoming freshmen, girls. Moka, who has received the most amount, discovers a bat-shaped letter, of which this writer intends to end her life very soon, much to her anxiety. These bat-shaped letters appear a few times throughout the day and several times during the night. During the entrance ceremony the following day, the mysterious girl picks a fight with two upperclassmen. During this time, Tsukune removes the rosary from Moka's neck, allowing Moka's inner self to stop the fight. The atmosphere grows more ominous as Moka identifies the mysterious girl as her younger half-sister Koko Shuzan. As children, Moka's tough inner self had always fought with and won against Koko at their home. However, when Moka had moved out of their home with her powers sealed in the rosary, Koko had chased her everywhere and vowed to challenge Moka's timid outer self one last time. Koko soon bursts into the classroom and chases Moka around the school using her mysterious bat, capable of shapeshifting into various weapons, to attack. Tsukune and the others do their best to protect her. Moka later confronts Koko outside, yet unable to fight back and soon admitting defeat. Tsukune speedily intercedes when Koko still attacks, and he removes the rosary from Moka's neck. After Moka's inner self lands a stalwart kick on Koko, the latter runs to eagerly and lovingly greet the former. Koko quietly resolves to have her sister all to herself, as Tsukune carries an exhausted Moka to the infirmary. The academy invites the students' parents for a day. It soon becomes a day for both Sarura Shirayuki, Mizore's mother, and Eija Kurono, Kurumi's mother, to renew their long-standing rivalry. They initially assume their daughters are going out with Tsukune and try to push their own to advance her relationship with him. During class, both Mizore and Kurumi sing heartfelt solos for the students. At lunchtime, Shirara and Eija are so enraged that they start fighting and trashing the entire school. They both are revealed as alumni at the academy who had a mutual crush on the same guy. Tsukune removes the rosary from Moka's neck, but Moka's inner self slams her foot into Tsukune, throwing him onto the two mothers to calm them down. Afterward, Mizore and Kurumi tell their mothers that they rather have Tsukune naturally fall in love than have him forced into marriage. Bothered by the fact that Tsukune apparently does not pay attention to her due to her size, Yukari goes to the infirmary, where Meko Yakumaru, the school nurse, turns her into an attractive adult. She catches the attention of every male student down the hallway, but Tsukune tries to remain indifferent with her appearance. During the physical examinations, Kurumi somehow still manages to better her in their body measurements. Yukari returns to Meko and asks her to increase her breast size. However, Meko reveals she was only helping Yukari so that she could feed on her negative emotions and growing despair. Meko, altering her fingers into tentacle-like barbs, restrains Yukari by injecting hypnotic fluids into her in order to feed on her again. However, after Tsukune removes the rosary from Moka's neck, Moka's inner self and the other girls swiftly defeat Meko, which all of this is unseen to Yukari. After returning to her childlike state, Yukari decides that she will grow up naturally and asks Tsukune to wait until then. She then kisses him, being the first to do so, much to the chagrin of the others. The girls vied to win Tsukune's affection by preparing food for him. They attend a cooking class run by Apsara, a teacher who is very passionate when it comes to Indian curry. Mizore is discouraged at first since curry is hot food and because the other girls have already presented Tsukune with their curries. She remembers back to when Moka's inner self had told her to try living her life before thinking of dying, which gives her the motivation to practice making curry at home. Meanwhile, Apsara transforms the water supply so that it changes into curry, and those who eat her curry find themselves turning a yellowish color. Mizore returns to find the entire student body turned into curry zombies controlled by Apsara in her Apsara form. She serves her curry, which comes with shaved ice, and it seems to turn Tsukune back to normal. He removes the rosary from Moka's neck, which summons Moka's inner self, who easily defeats Apsara. However, the entire school floods with curry, and it takes about a week to clean up. Afterward, Mizore then treats everyone to her innovative shaved ice stew. Moka wants to spend more time with Tsukune during a trip to the human world, but Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari make it difficult as they try to get close to him themselves. The four arrive at a hotel where a gang of delinquents from another monster school follows them to and grabs Tsukune as a hostage. The next day, as Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari fight three of the members, Moka goes and tries to untie Tsukune, only for the leader to notice her and does his special attack on her. A talisman appears and Moka uses it to hit the gang's Tengu leader twice before breaking his mask. All four leaders back away to show the teacher, who turns out to be Koko. Moka and the others pay no attention to her as Koko tries to attack, but as Tsukune trips and falls, he removes the rosary from Moka's neck, and Moka's inner self kicks Koko away. After breakfast, Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari walk and talk about the shrines, and notice that Tsukune and Moka are missing. Tsukune and Moka are walking together but are cornered by the four gang leaders, who bow down and call Moka their rosary ringleader. Tsukune returns to his house to pay his mother Tsukune Aono a visit. However, it suddenly turns to chaos when Moka, Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari each show up, trying to calm his mother down by saying they are just his classmates. After the girls invade him in the bathroom, Kasumi then faints from the stress, assuming him as a gigolo. His cousin Kyoko Aono later visits in the midst of the chaos and arranges a meeting which only worsens the situation. At night, on the rooftop, Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari fiercely fight to win over Tsukune for themselves, only to wreck parts of the surrounding neighborhood. After Kasumi recovers, Moka apologizes for everything getting out of control. Kasumi tells Moka that Tsukune has defined her as a wonderful friend, which straightens out the misunderstanding. In the playground, Tsukune removes the rosary from Moka's neck, and Moka's inner self punishes Kurumu, Mizore, and Yukari for their behavior. She admonishes Tsukune to choose one of the four girls to be his girlfriend. Tsukune and the others visit a ski resort in the human world run by Chirara. While the others are skiing, Mizore kidnaps Tsukune by orders from her mother. But she accidentally brings an ice replica of Tsukune instead. Koka, after learning she can get her sister back, finds Tsukune and Moka trying to remove the rosary from Moka's neck, but fails to do so. While yelling at Tsukune, she causes an avalanche, separating Tsukune and herself from Moka. While the other girls are relaxing in the hot spring, Moka and Mizore inform them that Tsukune and Koko may be in danger. Although managing to take cover in a cave, Tsukune and Koko are closed in due to a snowstorm, and Koko begins to suffer from hypothermia. A Yeti appears and attacks them, but Mizore distracts it, long enough for Tsukune and Koko to escape. Moka then shortly arrives to save Tsukune and lands on the Yeti. As she falls off, Tsukune removes the rosary from Moka's neck. Moka's inner self defeats the Yeti, which eventually turns out to be Mizore's costumed father. He's making me feel all type of things, and I'm not even homo bro. After apologizing, Tsukune and the others return to the academy. A new transfer student named Kotaro Ejuin attends the academy, gradually hypnotizing the female student body against their will. Meanwhile, Koko searches for her mysterious bat, who has somehow disappeared out of the blue. Kotaro successfully hypnotizes the entire female student body, unbelievably including Jin. Koko, eventually deducing that Kotaro is really her mysterious bat in disguise during his stage performance, almost becomes hypnotized as well. Tsukune, who has tried everything to stop Kotaro, jumps up on stage and removes the rosary from Moka's neck. Moka's inner self and Koko defeat Kotaro together, undoing the hypnotic spell on the entire female student body. Koko thanks Moka's inner self for saving her life, but the latter tells her to thank Moka's outer self for trying to save her even if she was still under the spell. Kyoko enters the academy carrying a parcel for Tsukune. On her way, she crashes into Koko, who is holding a parcel of a similar wrapping. When the two recover, they accidentally exchange parcels. Koko ends up with rice balls. However, Kyoko possesses Lilith's mirror, carried by the fairy-like artifact spirit Lilith. This dangerous object not only reveals the true form of all the students at the academy, but also their inner desires. Kyoko realizes that Tsukune is attending a school where everyone is a monster and becomes frightened by everyone's true forms. Moka saves Kyoko and regains her trust, evading the monsters in their way. After finding Lilith, Moka gazes into the mirror, splitting Moka's inner and outer selves as a separate entity. But both bodies lose half their strength. Tsukune arrives with the other girls, who blindfold themselves to defeat Lilith under Kyoko's guidance. Ruby covers the mirror with the wrapping, reverses its effects, and returns the students' bodies to their normal selves. After the incident involving Lilith's mirror, the barrier dividing the two worlds begins to crumble since the rosary stored in the academy that seals the monster energy from leaking out has now been cracked in response. Moka decides to make the ultimate sacrifice by replacing the broken rosary on the seal with her own rosary. As a result, Moka's outer self pays the price of being permanently replaced by Moka's inner self. Throughout the day, the other girls have a hard time getting used to Moka's inner self, while Tsukune cannot help but have Moka's outer self on his mind. Though Mikogami orders her not to tell anyone, Ruby tells Tsukune at night how to recover Moka's rosary, but also warns him of how dangerous this task may be. Tsukune must find the third of the 3 Dark Lords who crafted this relic, all of whom founded the academy and built the barrier that resides in a castle north of the barrier. Koko overheard this conversation between Tsukune and Ruby and is planning to intercept him before he reaches his destination. Tsukune continues on his journey and finally reaches the castle, thanks to Mizore, Yukari, and Kurumu's aid against Chirara and Ejiha. Inside, Koko warns him that the third all-powerful Dark Lord is Issa Shuzen, the father of both Moka and Koko. Despite her warnings, Tsukune confronts Issa, getting badly beaten by him in the process, but his determination brings out his latent vampire powers and manages to snatch the rosary from Issa's hand. Moka's inner self arrives and stops the fight, convincing Issa to let Tsukune have the rosary before having the castle collapse. Moka's inner self has her moment with Tsukune and bites him on the neck before she reattaches the rosary on her neck. Tsukune finally reunites with Moka's outer self, only to be bitten on the neck again. Nekonome and Ruby arrive with the bus to bring everyone back to the academy. After being spanked by her father for being behind several schemes, Koko then gains possession of Lilith's mirror once again and uses it. Both Mokas are suddenly present as they, as well as Tsukune's other admirers, glomp him. And the Season 2 ends here. Now don't request us for more because Season 3 is not out yet, but make sure to subscribe and comment down below for the next anime recap you'd like. Sayonara Plus Squad.